Welcome to the America of the 1950s. A time when parties were simple but really soulful. It all started with the fact that one of the teenagers stayed at home alone, and his friends immediately found out about it. There were no mobile phones, but word of the party was spreading faster than today's social media post. When you enter the house, you immediately hear the sound of music. There's a record player in the corner, the needle barely touching the record, and the voice of Elvis or Chuck Berry is coming out of the speakers. In the kitchen, there is a table littered with bottles of Coca-Cola, cakes and popcorn. Alcohol, he was almost absent. Milkshakes and sugary sodas were in fashion. And if your legs got tired, you could sit down in the living room and play bottle. It was innocent fun, but the heart stopped when the neck of the bottle pointed at you. This is exactly what the parties of the 50s looked like, without gadgets, without the internet, just music, live communication and sincere laughter. People were just having fun. And perhaps that's why those times still evoke such warm nostalgia. The America of the 1960s is freedom. These are protests. These are hippies, rock and roll, and parties that didn't fit into the usual framework. If in the 50s parties were held in living rooms and on dance floors, now they are in parks, beaches, campgrounds, or right in the middle of the street. A typical 60s party is a group of friends sitting in a circle, on the ground or on soft pillows. There is no officiousness, no strict outfits. Everyone is relaxed, barefoot, in loose clothes. The boys are in ripped jeans and leather vests, the girls in long skirts with floral prints. The air is thick with the scent of sandalwood and frankincense. Lava is everywhere, lamps, candles, bright carpets and drawings of psychedelic colors. Music is no longer just a background, it is a philosophy. In the corner, someone is strumming a guitar, humming the Beatles or Bob Dylan. Jefferson Airplane is playing on the record, and next to it 2 people are dancing as if they forgot about the world. The main difference between these parties is the lack of a script. No one expects a clear plan, no one keeps track of time. Here, you can discuss the meaning of life, listen to long guitar solos, or just watch the candle flame. There are large bowls of fruit punches, sliced oranges, and nuts on the table. Unlike in the 50s, alcohol is no longer uncommon, but the atmosphere is more important. People talk about peace, love, and the future. It was at such parties that the spirit of the 60s was born, when young people decided that boundaries existed only in their heads. These were gatherings where feelings are important, not the place or the food. Complete freedom. Would you like to be there, on the grass, listening to the sounds of old vinyl? The 1980s were a time of neon, arcade machines, and the first MTV style parties. Music is getting louder, technology is getting cooler, and parties are getting crazier. If in the 70s people went to nightclubs, now the coolest parties take place right in the living room. The main culprit of such parties is MTV. In 1981, a channel appeared that changed the whole culture of entertainment. Now the party starts with someone playing clips of Madonna, Duran Duran or Van Halen on TV. A party without dancing? Impossible. Every home has at least one console, Atari, NES or Sega. Guests take turns competing in Pac-Man, Donkey Kong and Super Mario Bros. While a crowd of fans gathers around. Well, if you're not a fan of video games, you can always hang out at the snack table. Soda, nachos with cheese, pizza with a thick layer of cheese and huge bottles of Coca-Cola rule the ball here. Bubble Yum Gum and colorful Skittles candies are another hit of the party. Now imagine that it's 2 o'clock in the morning outside, but no one is going to leave. The parties of the past decades are not only about vivid memories and dancing until the morning. There are also a lot of funny, strange, and even curious moments that have always remained in the memory of the participants. Let's take a look at some of the funniest party situations from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. In the 60s, rock and roll was at the peak of its popularity, and it seemed that everyone was so in love that they forgot about everything. But sometimes, in the midst of passionate dancing, people didn't notice how their dance moves were becoming too expressive. One guy at a party in San Francisco accelerated so much that he knocked the mirror off the wall, tried to catch it, but crashed into the couch where his girlfriend's grandmother was sitting. Of course, Grandma didn't appreciate extreme dancing, but the situation itself made everyone laugh until they cried. And back in the 60s, there were a lot of people who tried to play the guitar, but actually only knew a couple of chords. One such character at a party, trying to surprise everyone, started playing Imagine by John Lennon. And instead of confidently singing, he accidentally switched the string and started playing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. People were confused, but they quickly started picking up on the Star song, turning it into the most unexpected choral moment of the party. In the 70s, at the height of the disco boom, everyone tried to be as cool as possible on the dance floor. But the dancing didn't always go according to plan. One of the funniest incidents happened at a popular disco in New York when a girl, so carried away dancing to Stayin' Alive, suddenly got tangled in her shiny dress and crashed into a table with drinks. Beer, cocktails, and snacks flew in different directions, and her stylish whirlwind ended with her standing in the center of the dance floor, engrossed in a burst of laughter from others. And here's another case. One guy, trying to make a cool dance step, slipped off the dance floor and right in front of the whole party got into a huge container with foam, designed for an evening in the style of Milk and Honey. The eyewitnesses still can't figure out whether it was a planned move or a pure accident, but it is with this incident that the best memories of the night party are connected. And here are the funny moments of the 80s. One case became a real hit among the hangouts. At one of the private parties in Los Angeles, a guy in a neon suit, trying to attract attention, jumped into the pool, not noticing that there was not just a child's toy nearby, but a real carp released for free swimming. Bottom line, the guy ended up in the water and the fish ended up on the dance floor. A complete curiosity. Do not forget about the incredible dance attempts. One man, deciding to show everyone his breakdancing skills, did an incredible spin on the floor and couldn't stop. As a result, he was rolling all over the dance floor area and accidentally bumped into a group of people who were trying to make a video clip for their friends. At this point, the video finally went into the archives, but there are still stories about his continuous dance epic. But despite these funny moments, it is important to understand one thing. All these curiosities were part of a unique atmosphere. They created a real sense of freedom and ease, where everyone could be themselves without fear of being misunderstood. After all, at these parties, people really lived in the moment, and each funny incident added a special touch to the memories of those days.